Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with the 7th update for my Panda palette. I am excited to jump in and show you my progress, but before we do that, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. But let's just go ahead and start by showing you the picture from last month. So as you can see, this right here is where I was last update with this palette, and since then this right here is what it looks like now. So I definitely have some progress on it, but not too much. Also in the comparison you're gonna see that I actually repressed the coral shade, because this one right here, I actually dropped my palette straight away after filming the last update, and I had to repress it. So in the comparison now I will have the repressed version, just to kind of give you a better idea of how much I have used. But as always, let's just go ahead and go through the shades in order. So the first shade is this highlighter shade right here. This is a shade that I haven't used too much over the last month, and I only reached for it 11 times. The way I've gotten most of my progress from this eyeshadow is using it as a face highlighter, and I was panning another highlighter, but I have actually finished that up recently. So if you know which one I'm panning, that is a spoiler. But anyway, I have gone back to using these two, and mainly this one, as a face highlighter again. So I'm foreseeing that the progress on this eyeshadow will be much better moving forward. But yeah, I have only used this 11 times over the last month, again as a face highlighter sometimes, but also under my brow bone. Next up we have the gold shade right here, and with this one I had my first goal for last month, and that was to kind of use up a quarter of the product, so kind of where the areas here is straight up, and I definitely feel like I was able to do so. I did use this eyeshadow 10 times over the last month, so not too much, but it is quite a flaky formula, so I feel like when I do use it, I use a lot because it is a thicker formula. But I'm really excited with the progress that I have on this, and I feel like this is a shade that I will be able to continue using throughout the rest of the year, because it is quite a versatile neutral shade. So I'm not worried that I won't be able to finish this up before the end of the year. The next eyeshadow up is this champagne shade right here. This one is another one that I had a goal on, and I wanted to use up basically everything parallel to this line right here, and I was almost able to do so. And as you can see in the comparison pictures, I did have quite a long way to go, and I basically only used this eyeshadow as an inner corner highlight. So of course the progress is going to be a bit slower than using it all over the lid, but I am very excited with the progress that I was able to make in this eyeshadow, and I feel like it is one that I should definitely be able to finish up in the next maybe 3 months or so, so definitely before the end of the year. So this one I did use 16 times over the last month. It's not as high as some of the previous months, because over the last month I did a 1 week 1 palette, which I didn't use this palette at all. I only focused on the palette I was using in that project, so they're obviously gonna make the usage on these a little bit lower than they have been previously. The last eyeshadow on the top row is this warm brown right here. This is a shade that I haven't used too much over the last month. I only reached for it 3 times. It is a good deepening up shade, but I'm not sure I will be able to finish this up before the end of the year. Same with this one. I have used it once over the last month, but I do prefer this kind of warmer tone brown here. It's just the nicest tone for me. So these two I feel like I'm going to battle with at the end of the year, but I'm honestly not too fussed not using up those 2 eyeshadows, because I don't really reach for deep browns that often, and once I do, I only use a tiny bit. So if I can only get enough progress on maybe one of them, that would be quite good. But again, I'm not too fussed about using them up before the end of the year. The next eyeshadow, which is this purple right here, I still haven't used. I mentioned before that it is one that I want to focus in on now when autumn comes around. So I feel like it's one that I will kind of focus in on next month, and I might actually put one of my goals with this eyeshadow right here, just to start using it, because yeah, I have put it a bit on the back burner, and I feel like it's a bit of a random shade in this palette, because it doesn't really go with the transition shade that's in here, and yeah, it's just a bit harder for me to incorporate. But I will try to use that a bit more now in the next month, like I said, and hopefully you can see some progress on it next month. Then we have the orange shade right here, which was the 3rd goal I had over the last month, and that was to use up half of what was left with this eyeshadow. And I'm hoping you can see right here that the eyeshadow is getting really thin after I repressed it, and I definitely feel like I was able to use up half of what I had left. So with this one, I'm hoping to be able to finish it next month. I'm trying to kind of go away from these really orangey toned eyeshadows because I've been wearing them so much over the last maybe 3 months. But I do have this one as well as another orangey shade that I'm panning in my pan as eyeshadows, so I feel like that's probably going to take a little bit longer before I can completely move away from them. But still, I don't think there will be a problem using this eyeshadow up, although since repressing it, it has actually gotten a bit kind of more tightly pressed in the pan. So I know I mentioned before with this eyeshadow that it was really hard to pick it up without getting a lot of kickback, and it went really fast because of that. But since repressing it, it has become kind of a better formula, which is nice, and I'm not wasting as much product. But hopefully, like I said, this will be gone by next update. Then lastly, we have this darker highlighter shade right here. I did use it 4 times over the last month, and that was as a highlighter. So I do mix it in with this lighter one right here, and I also use this kind of on its own up here on my forehead. I feel like it's a really nice highlighter for that, especially now in summer when I have a tiny bit more of a tan. But again, I'm hoping to get more use on this eyeshadow now when I have used up the other highlighter, because I feel like with these two, that's how I'm going to get the most progress. So again, I'm hoping to have a bit more progress showing on this one by the next update. So that is the update for my Panda palette this time. The progress isn't as amazing as some of my previous months, but I'm really happy with it still. So with the goals for this palette for next month, I'm gonna actually include this one again. So I want to finish up what I have left in this orange eyeshadow here. Again, I don't think that will be difficult because it's very thin, and although I want to kind of get away from these orangey looks, I do want to use it up, and I want to have an empty pan in this eyeshadow palette. So that will be my first goal, and then the second goal, like I mentioned, will be with this kind of purpley shade right here. I haven't been using it almost at all this whole year, so I want to focus in on it now, and I'm actually hoping to hit pan on that in the next month. At least that will be my goal, and if I can't, I just want to have a really significant dip in it so that you can see some usage on it finally, because it's definitely an eyeshadow that I have been neglecting in this palette. Then for the third goal, I was debating to pick one of these two right here, but I'm actually going to go with this champagne color because I do have a lot of bronzy shades in other projects. I'm working on 2 superficial shadows currently that are more kind of goldy bronzy shades, so I feel like I want to have a break from this color right here, or at least not feel pressured to use it, so that I can focus on those other 2 bronzes. So I'm gonna pick this champagne shade like I said, and my goal will be to use up half of what I have left. I'm hoping that will be possible because it is another shade that I want to use up and get out of this palette relatively soon, because I feel like we are getting towards the end of the year and I want to just have so much just finished in this palette so that I can feel a bit more encouraged to finish up as much of this as possible before the end of the year. But that, you guys, was all for this Panda palette update. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let me know how you're doing with your panic projects down below. Otherwise, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye guys.